Okay, this is my video for my first impressions of Wuthering Waves. So, hello, in case you're new to the channel, the name's CZ. I've been anticipating this game pretty much since they first announced it, like years ago. I have been a day one player of PGR. That's why I know about Wuthering Waves, because it is a game that is being developed by Kuro Games, and Kuro Games, the developer for Punishing Gray Raven. And if there's one thing that I will say that Kuro Games knows how to do really well, is they know how to do combat. So when I saw Wuthering Waves, that's why I was highly anticipating it, and that's why I am really happy to be able to participate in the second closed beta. I wasn't able to participate in any of the previous tests, and I spent a lot of hours jealously. No, I'm just kidding. Spent a lot of hours watching people play the first closed beta. So now I currently have I did, like, on day one. I'm currently on day two as of the recording of this. But on day one, I played pretty much 14 hours straight. And I plan to continue playing the game, hopefully reach endgame content. But for now, I would like to give my first impression. I do plan to make another video when I have a better understanding later down the line, especially when I do get to the endgame content, etc. But I guess we'll start with the characters, right? So, I don't have that many characters yet. For some reason, the game keeps giving me weapons from the gacha. I don't know why. But this is like the only... this is the 5-star character I got from the beginner banner. More on that later. But anyways, so for the characters, I'm really liking the design. Like, in general, I feel like overall, like, I just really like the way they designed characters in Wuthering Waves a whole lot more. Like, for example, we have Chixia. I feel like, if I were to say, in my humble opinion, she is the character that got the best redesign. So, if you're familiar with how some of the characters looked in the earlier tests, when they first show her, my first impression of her was like, she just looked like Tifa, and then she had pistols, that's it. But now she has a completely different makeover, which definitely matches, I think, her upbeat personality. So I feel like the devs really hit a bullseye with her redesign. Bullseye? Wielding pistols, you know? Sorry. Anyways, so especially also when you consider, like, her old design, it didn't really stand out that much because you had two other characters, like Yang Yang and Baiji, or I forget what she was called before, but they changed her name. That was one of the things they did with her. But, like, when you compared her between the other two, who also had black hair, it feels like her design was just very plain compared to Yang Yang and Baiji. Now, Yang Yang, they have made changes to her fairly... like, her face structure, her body proportions. She used to have bandages on her torso area, but they removed that. They made slightly changes. Another character that they have made changes, and I think it's really also really good, is Baiji. They gave her a more mature look. I mean, especially early on, they all looked like they had the same face structure, but here they gave Baiji a more mature look. They also changed her outfit. Overall, I think it looks a lot better from what her original design was. She underwent a few changes. Like, before, they made all of her entire hair green. Like, here at the bottom, you can see it's kind of green, but, like, on top. So they've added, like, a white highlight, and then they brought it back to being black instead of it being all green. While the green is still there, but it's more on the the hair tips instead. And they changed her dress. Overall, I think the characters look really good. I wish I could show more. They also changed Morteffi's design, although I believe that some people did like that he was a bit more further along with his deformation, or I'm not sure what to call it, mutations, I guess. Like before he had a tail. But yeah, Morteffi also had some redesigns. And then more characters, and I think did go through redesigns. And I'm thinking it's better for it. There are other characters I do like plan to get, but I haven't been able to get them since I would have to get them from the gacha. Like Janjin, like she was the one I really wanted to get, but I ended up getting Encore. So I'm like, dang it. But then again, it's closed beta, so I was thinking, get my bad luck out of the way. That way, when I get to closed beta, it's the characters that I want. I mean, when I get to the actual game release, it's the characters I want. But anyways, so yeah, I'm really liking the character designs. And I'm looking forward to, like, if they announce more characters, I do want to see what they look like. And, looking maybe at my experience with PGR, like how they have a character release, and then every patch they also have a character that has costumes, so they might do the same thing. Who knows? We'll see how their roadmap will be in the future. But okay, so yeah, but that's my overall thoughts with the characters. I'm really liking the designs. I have always liked PGR's character designs, and I'm liking what I see here with Wuthering Waves. So while we're on the aspect of characters, I guess one key feature that, as I mentioned earlier, is the combat. Kurogame definitely knows how to do combat really well. So let's see if I can. I'll just do the crownless fight. I don't know if I'll be able to fight properly while being able to talk at the same time. But if there's one thing that I really love about the game, although I will say, right now, I'm playing on mouse and keyboard. There doesn't seem to be a way to be able to access or to use controller at the moment. But I remember seeing in previous coverage that there was a way, that there was controller prompts. So maybe they just don't have it in this build. I can't wait to get my hands on, to be able to play this on controller, but it doesn't look like to be here in the closed beta. Anyways, so I feel the combat is very, very smooth. Every character does feel unique. They have different ways of playing out. Like we have the male rover here. He is a Spectro character. A lot of his fights, movement is very snappy. I like, for a main character, especially considering like the other main characters we can compare to, his combat feels really solid. And then of course we have Chixia. She wields dual pistols, and the way she I got hit. And the way she does play revolves around ranged combat. And then as you can see, I am also able to do dodge moves. So, hi! Nope. And then there's also these tag-in attacks, which is cool. If you're a PGR player, you're familiar with swapping in characters. What they changed here is, like, you can see the characters on the right side. They now have like a, wait, what is it called? They have an effect. So basically that means when I switch to them, the character going out does their outro skill, and the character coming in does their intro skill. Yikes! There you go. And then of course they have their ultimate attacks. So there are a lot of aspects to the combat that I really, really like. And they all play differently. So, for example, Anka here, her ultimate changes her combat style, and then if her discord meter or dissonance meter in the middle, which is now full. You can do this charge attack, which makes her just have more defense and charge up her attack for a big blast. And then, of course, the male rover has that. So combat can be really varied. I'm really liking the combat. I wasn't able to really show it, but there's also the grappling hook. So there's like aerial combat as well. And depending on the character, some have more extensive aerial combat capabilities. Like Yang Yang, she does have a quick combo in the air before plunging attack to the ground, while the male rover is mostly just a plunge attack. And for Chixia, she does have like firing her pistols in the air. So each of the characters really feels and plays differently in my opinion. And then perfect. I guess we have this. So as you can see, I defeated the boss, and we have this this silhouette. This is basically echoes. So the enemies are called tacit discords. And you can basically absorb them to be able to use them as echoes. So echoes can do two things. One is you can use them as an ability in game. So for example, for Anka here, I have the Flame Rider as her echo. For the male rover, I have this little guy who does an AoE splash, which basically does spectral damage and slows down the enemies in the field. So to be able to get those echoes, you absorb your enemies basically, or the tacit discords, and even bosses can be absorbed. So yeah, new echo, crownless. Ooh, it's I have gotten crownless before, but the reason why this is new because it's new rarity. So there are also rarities for the echoes. So you can see here I have a bunch of echoes equipped already. You can equip up to 5. What you can equip is determined by your cost. Like each echo has a certain cost related to them. This does increase over time by upgrading this this gourd here. So as you get more echoes, you can upgrade them. And eventually, this also gives you more stamina, and you can see here at the bottom, cost limits, so that's how you upgrade that. But the key feature of the echoes is pretty much they also act as your gear. And this is also kind of, I guess, which will be sort of your end game grind, I guess. So, like with other gacha games, you have to like farm your gear, you know, looking for the best sets. But what I feel like what will make this game be fun is that echoes are basically your gear, and you can just keep going around the open world. So this is an open world game. You can just keep going around and fighting enemies and, you know, getting rewards. Ooh, I better get this before I forget. Or, no, not yet. Anyways. So you can just keep farming the open world, fighting TDs, getting more echoes, getting more gear. You kind of want to... Although I can kind of see that maybe being a problem later on. This might make you burn out if, like, you know, you keep farming and yet you're not able to get, like, the right gear. But, ooh, nice. Attack and, attack percent and attack. I guess that's pretty good. But, you know, you constantly going around the world. But they have said that the devs have said that they are working on ways for you to be able to earn echoes, like from doing the Tacit Discord challenges. So at least it's not just from doing the open world. But what's nice about like defeating enemies in the open world for your gear is that you're not tied down by the game's energy system. So the energy system in this game is wave plates, or so that's the currency. So that's basically your stamina system. So what I like about the echoes is that as long as there's an enemy to fight, you can find them in the open world. If you're looking for a specific enemy, you can also find them in the guidebook. So there, you have them listed out, and then you can detect where they are, etc. Let's see. No, not that one. Here. Yeah, so it will like highlight where's the closest enemy of that. So finding echoes may or may not be that difficult. I mean, I guess it will depend on your experience in the game. So I'm liking this system, but I can see it being something that we have to look at once the game fully releases. But what I'm liking about it is that it is a way for progression, and it gives you incentive to go out into the open world, find these echoes, and the stats that they have are RNG. So in each character you can have up to 5 at a time, and depending on like what Sonata effect, or basically the effect that they have, does give different bonuses. So for example, for this one, if I wanted, I could give like all attack bonuses. So if I have echoes that are categorized in this attack category, and if I have 5 of them equipped, I get the bonus. Or if I do the Spectro Celestial Light Sonata effect, then I get that corresponding effect. So there's a lot of incentive to really farm multiple different echoes, and because the stats do seem to be highly RNG. I haven't explored enough to see if how far the RNG goes. Like for example, while this has a Spectro damage bonus or Sonata effect, it has the Electro damage bonus modifier. So it feels. We'll see if they will change that, but you know that's the RNG to the game in the gear. So, but yeah, that's one aspect. The echoes is one aspect that I think that will be that will make players continue playing the game, or well, we'll see how it goes, especially at end game content. That's why I also do want to reach the end game to see how this translates in the end game. And then also another incentive, I guess, is that you can find shiny versions of these tacit discords or echoes. So another reason why you want to go hunting, or go around hunting for these mobs, because you can get shiny versions of them. So, like there's more of them, but none of them are shiny. Oh well, I have yet to find one shiny in the game, but apparently there is a shiny. Nope, they're regular. Okay, but there is apparently a shiny versions of these mobs or monsters, TDs. So yeah. Now I guess while I'm at it, since you'll be exploring the open world, I will say the open world looks great. It definitely looks a whole lot better compared to when they first announced the game. When they first showed off the game, it was mostly browns and grays in your overall area, which I guess I kind of get. I kind of get why they did that. They wanted to give the overall look of it being a kind of post-apocalyptic kind of feel, which I mean I guess they have done with PGR, but that was one of the biggest criticisms of the initial release, the initial reveal, and the initial tests. So it's great that the developers, Kuro Games, has taken that feedback and improved on the world. Look at that. That just looks a whole lot better from what they first shown. And yet it's still, I feel it's like, what I like about this also, it's like if you've, I don't, like if you're, okay, I'm gonna do it. I was trying not to, but I will do it. If you're comparing it to like Genshin, what else? What are the games? Fortnite. If you're comparing it to those games, that color palette, I feel like that color palette, I mean, as I've gotten older, that color palette doesn't appeal to me as much anymore, and I'm really liking this color palette now. It gives it its own unique identity, which I feel. And yeah, I'm really liking what they've done with the environment. The exploration has also been a lot of fun. Although I will say, with regards to the exploration, I feel like there are certain times when the exploration feels like there are instances where I feel like I'm just walking and I'm not able to find anything, especially with areas that I have already explored, since I've tried to find more treasure chests to see if I missed anything. And there have been times where I felt like maybe they can add more enemies in the map, maybe more treasure chests to find, activities to do in the open world, because there has been a few times where I felt like I was just running around and there was nothing in the area I was in. Look at that. What can you say? Nighttime also looks great in this game, right? And then, of course, you can tell areas that are afflicted with the Tacit Discord or Tacit areas. They're marked, and you can see it on the terrain and how it affected the overall world. So, yeah, that's pretty much, yeah, that's my only concern right now, is that I feel like they need to add more stuff in the exploration of the open world, because there have been spots where I feel like there's nothing in it. Okay. Okay, and I guess story. Since I haven't really played any of the early versions, and the devs did say they like rewrote 90% of the story, I can't really make the comparison on how I like the old story and the new story. But from what and this is like based on only this experience, I have enjoyed this game's story. I mean, it's not the greatest story, but at least it kept me engaged for most of the 14 hours, because there were other times I was just going off the beaten track, getting distracted by a side quest or something. But with the overall story, it has kept me invested. There are just a few problems, because with this being a closed beta, and they mentioned it, there is no voice acting, unless of course you're playing on the CN voices. But I played a good chunk of the early game, and there was no voice acting, because I was on the English options, so that kind of felt off. But again, they did say that once the game releases, that stuff will be addressed. There has been also like stuff with the cutscenes where it felt like there's no sounds. That's another thing. In the exploration, they need to add more sounds. It felt like it just became dead quiet. There were times where it just became dead quiet. But when the music pops in, it pops off. So it's really great when the music is going. But there have been times where it feels like there's nothing. It's just dead silent. So they have stuff to work on with regards to the story, maybe some of the sound bites and such. But, we'll see, I guess, once the game releases. I'll reserve judgment for that till later on with regards to the story. And, yeah, we'll see if them rewriting 90% of the game really pays off. So, yeah. So now we go to another aspect, which may be divisive for a lot of people. The gacha, especially if you're an existing PGR player. If you're used to the PGR gacha, Punishing Gray Raven's gacha is very generous, but it seems like here they have made changes, and it leans more towards the side of what has been the trend recently. So with PGR, you were like, with the character, you pretty much guaranteed the character at 60 pulls. Here, what they've done is they made it 80 pulls for a guaranteed 5-star. And then for the first pull, it's 50-50. And if you miss the 50-50, the next 5-star you get is the guaranteed rate-up character. So that sounds very familiar, especially with a lot of the gacha games that have been releasing in the past year or so. And but I'm glad that they did make changes with the weapon banner. You are guaranteed the weapon when you get it. There is no 50-50, there is no 80-20. You are guaranteed 100% to get the weapon if you get a 5-star, and you're guaranteed the 5-star at 80 pulls. So the number of pulls between the character and weapon banners is the same, it's at 80, but with the weapon banner, you are guaranteed the weapon. Although I will say we're not sure. I haven't summoned on the banner yet, sorry. But we're not sure if this is what will be translated over once the game releases, but it's pretty much here, so I guess I can expect it to be the case, I guess. So here, every time a 5-star weapon is obtained, it's guaranteed to be Verdant Summit. So that is the rate up weapon, the limited 5-star weapon of this event. So thank God that thank God that they made it 100%, because that's one problem I've had with gachas doing like a character and weapon banner. Like I rarely roll on the weapon banner because I hate that I wouldn't be able to get it. But at least with this, it's guaranteed, so it gives me more incentive to actually get the both the character and the weapon. I guess if ever in situations like that, like if I'm able to get the character, I'll definitely roll for the weapon in that case. Like, but if I fail the 50-50, I probably won't. I probably won't roll for the weapon. So, you know, it gives me a different perspective on how to do my rolls, which I think is a better outcome for me. If I decide to play this game. No, I am going to be playing this game once it releases. So it will definitely give me more incentive to actually roll for the weapon banner. So, which is nice. Because, like, I hated that I couldn't get the weapon, or, like, the character's signature weapon. But then again, my priority is usually getting the character. So, yeah. Anyway, so, but yeah, like, they have changed. They have deviated from what they did with PGR. I understand why they did it. But we'll see. We don't really know how the game will be monetized per se, or, like, how often they will be giving free pulls, or how often, or like how many pulls we get every patch. So we'll see how they plan out their roadmap once the game releases. Because like with PGR, basically if you just save up every time, you're basically able to get every single character from when you start by just, you know, even if you're free to play. We'll see if that will translate over here to Wuthering Waves, but who knows? Who knows how? We'll have to see once the game releases if they will stick to this, if they will make changes, and if how they will treat the player base when it comes to giving rewards and such. And then, speaking of giving rewards, we then go to the events. So for this closed beta, we do have events. So apparently we get a free character, Sanhua, who is a 4-star Ice Resonator. And then also we get Yuan Wu, who is a Electro, or Electric? I still haven't completely memorized the elements yet, so bear with me. You get him, he's a 4-star Electric Resonator that you can get. Wait, where is he? Let me see. Electro, yep, Electro. And he's looking good. I have seen a bit of his combat. He's one of the characters I do want to get. So I just need to clear the Tower of Adversity. I just need to level up a bit more to be able to clear the other floors, and I can get him. And Sanhua, he is the Glacio 4-star character. So, yep. It's nice that they're giving free characters, also giving free summons once you get like reach union level is basically your account level. So I'm at 19, I'm trying to get to 20, and then eventually get to 25, etc, etc, etc. So it's nice that they're giving rewards. Now, will this be the same as when the game releases? we can only wait and see. But I would like to think that this is probably what we can expect. Maybe, maybe not. I don't want to get too, um, expect too much, because one, they might change, and two, they might do things differently. Like with PGR, when you start PGR, you get a 5-star character for free, pretty much when you start. So who knows? For now, it might just be 4 stars, but then later on, you get it might be a 5-star. But then I will say, the 4-star characters feel great to play. So even if we only get 4 stars, I don't think that's a bad thing, because that's just how good the combat feels with 4-star characters. So I would be okay even if they still kept it with Sanhua and Yuan Wu when the game releases. And yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts. I don't know how that took. In my mind, it felt like it was gonna be a short video, but I feel like I've been speaking forever. But anyways, so that's pretty much my first impressions of Wuthering Waves. Now that I've gotten a handle on it in CBT2, there's definitely some endgame content I would like to reach and then also get my hands on, but I haven't gotten there yet. So this is pretty much really a first impressions. And then I do plan to make another video later once I get better knowledge on the game. I will try. I mean, I don't want to burn myself out, so I will do it at my usual pace. But I mean, I will be playing this game the whole week. So if you want to watch me on Twitch or YouTube, I will leave my Twitch channel in the description, or you can subscribe here on the YouTube channel. And yeah, you'll be ding the notification to see when I go online for the stream. And yeah, I plan to play more of this game, and then I have been making some comparisons already with PGR, but yeah, I'll probably also do a more in-depth comparison with that once I have better understanding with the game. So that's a couple of videos that I have planned out, and I do plan to make more. I do plan to cover Wuthering Waves a whole lot more. So I hope you'll stick around and catch me on the next video. So if you reached this point, thanks for watching, YouTube, and I'll be putting this up on the VOD. I'm doing this recording live on stream. So yeah, if you reach this point, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, YouTube.